All right, it's 12 o'clock and we are now doing the dry, itchy skin. Um, I don't know if on the computer is that's reversed or not, but anyhow, our overall goal today is to educate you guys on dry, itchy skin and how water can affect it. It's a very, very common thing. I mean, right now, welcome to Chicago. We've got ourselves 10, 20-degree weather. It's been horrible. And we got lots of snow. I was in Florida, came back, got a cold. So, gee, thanks, Chicago. But anyhow, some of the other things that happen a lot around Chicago during this time of year is dry, itchy skin. And so the purpose of this video is to help you understand, not from a medical point of view, it can cause dry, itchy skin, but from a water point of view, because water is such a gigantic part of your life. As I've explained in most of my videos, if you've watched them, I love to teach people something that we've all forgotten. We all learned it in grade school or high school, that your body is literally 60 to 70% water. Your brain is 90% water. And you have to remember one other thing. You are one gigantic filter. So no matter what, you're filtering things all the time. If you're inhaling air, you're filtering out the oxygen that's in the air, and it's pushing it right into your blood system. The same thing with water, right? I mean, if we're drinking water, what we're doing is we're putting it in our body, our esophagus, our stomach, our kidneys, our liver, our pancreas, filters everything that you just consumed in that glass of water integrated it into your body. So we're passionate about filtering water to make you more healthy. But one of the bigger aspects that people deal with right now is dry, itchy skin. And people just go, how does that affect it? And that doesn't make any sense. And for me, I'd love to just tell a quick little story. I started in this business after being in the pharmaceutical world for many, many years. And I was passionate about making people more healthy. And I thought drugs was it, right? Drugs. And that doesn't sound good, but it actually was. It was pharmaceutical drugs, because I felt like it was the next best thing to being a doctor. People were taking prescriptions and they were feeling better. It was curing different things. And so I was really, really excited about that as an industry. However, as time went on, I would meet people who had tremendous success getting rid of chemicals, topical agents, for instance, steroids. I mean, there's a lot of steroids you can buy to actually put on your skin to help alleviate dry, itchy skin. And I was in these meetings and I'd have people come up to me and say, as I'm explaining how to use drugs on a long-term basis, they would raise their hand and they're like, I want to tell everyone my story. And in front of thousands of people or hundreds of people, depending on the events that I was holding, people would talk about how they were able to get off the drugs. And at first I was very angry. I was like, this is the way I make my living. What are these people doing? But as I really calmed down and I asked myself, and actually it was my father who helped me really take a close look at what I'm all about. It's about making people more healthy, naturally, if possible. So, drugs, I felt myself torn in that job, because I was like wanting them to use more drugs, but yet because that was paying my salary. But on the other hand, I was happy that they were sharing this information with other people. So it was I was in this dichotomy. And what I learned was I learned to listen to my inner soul. I learned to listen to me. And what that did is help me resonate with totally getting out of the industry as a whole and finding more of a natural way for people to heal themselves. And fortunately for me, I found my longtime childhood friend, one of my best friends. He owned this business and he wanted to get out, so he sold me this business. And I was able to actually step in, and I started learning more and more about how water affects the body. And I leaned on my classes that I had in college to really start to understand that, boy, these people were right. They were getting off. They were buying more organic foods. They were removing chlorine that was in the water. They were literally searching and looking for new ways to heal themselves. And if we go back to, the Roman times, we go back to just, 100 years ago, we didn't have the medical community with all these chemicals that were these magic wands that people are advertising on TV. These manufacturers are advertising on TV to get us hooked into using their chemicals. So this video is specifically just designed to help you understand some of the components that can cause dry, itchy skin. Certainly people have eczema. Certainly people have some other health conditions that this may or may not be relevant for. But out of all the customers that I've had at Angel Water, so many of them I've had that have literally come back to me after buying filter systems and have had tremendous success with reducing or eliminating the lotions that they're buying or the steroids that they're buying for dry, itchy skin just by cleaning up the water. So what I want to be able to do is explain to you what is in water that causes that. So there's really only two things that cause that in water. One is going, and the first and foremost is on city water supply. So municipalities around the country are required by law to add chlorine to water. So chlorine is pretty simple, Cl2. And chlorine is a chemical component that the cities are required to put into the water so that it kills bacteria. And this goes back to, and if you've seen some of my other videos, I've highlighted this, but it goes back to the 1800s. At the end of the 1800s, Chicago, of all places, was a location where the city was drawing Lake Michigan clean water in and distributing it to all the buildings. And during a very bad rainfall, the sewage from the city backed up into Lake Michigan, and they were drawing that water in that had that sewage. And what ended up happening is it killed many people because they got coliform poisoning from the water. So since that event, many scientists went out trying to figure out what could they do, and they realized if we just add a little bit of chlorine to water, it'll keep bacteria down. And that has been a national standard now that the EPA requires all water authorities to do in the United States, is to add chlorine to the water for the distribution of their plumbing throughout the entire city. So that little bit of chlorine you have to think about, because chlorine, if I were to open up a bottle of chlorine today and drink it, it would obviously kill me. And if you think about chlorine, if you spill it on your skin, it burns, right? But in low doses, you think that it's going to be okay, or our government says that it's okay. Now, it is okay. I mean, clearly we don't die right away. But I have had clients, we're fortunate, we've been blessed to have, thousands and thousands of customers here at Angel Water. I mean, we're very blessed. We have, I don't know, over 60 some employees that run around and try to help people get more healthy with water. And what we've had is so much feedback that is very clear that if they remove that chlorine from the water, it has been a lifesaver for people who have dry, itchy skin. Even people who've had severe dandruff, they've actually said, oh my God, I got rid of the chlorine out of the water. My scalp got less sensitive, and so as a result, I got less dandruff. So wow, what a wonderful thing. So the first thing that we're that I suggest that you talk to one of your water treatment companies about is to remove chlorine out of the water. Because chlorine literally, as I mentioned, if you put it on your skin, it dries it out. It's going to burn it. So in low doses, though, what we find is clearly it dries out the skin. Clearly it affects the skin and the scalp. The second thing that is very common with water is all the water in the Chicagoland area has this in it. I don't know if you can see that. Put that on the video here. These are just rocks, right? So if we are looking at, say, Lake Michigan water, Lake Michigan, it's pretty simple. It's basically a gigantic hole in the ground, right? So if that's the water, this is the water sitting on top of this layer of bedrock. So Lake Michigan, as that water is sitting on top of this layer of bedrock, it interacts with that rock. And obviously, that rock leaches into the water. So if we were to have a water droplet here, if I draw a quick little water droplet, we would have this piece of rock attached to the water droplet. Now, that piece of rock is no different than this rock that I'm going to hold up here. And it's a little small, but small piece of rock. So what we do is we know that we can measure Lake Michigan water, and almost all of the Lake Michigan water in the Chicagoland area, unless the cities, you have a city that had a problematic case, it might be purified, but almost all of it has this rock in the water. So rocks are something that clog the skin's pores. So again, if we think about our pore on our skin, we have like a little hole, right? So the pores of our skin are designed to keep the contaminants away from the inside of our body, right? So it's almost like a filter, but it absorbs things. You know, you have to remember, in the pharmaceutical world, we sold patches. I mean, you might even have, if you quit smoking, you might have gotten a patch, right? Sometimes if you've been given a drug, you might have been given a patch from your doctor. You put it on your shoulder or somewhere maybe on your chest, and it slowly releases the chemical into your skin, and your body and your pores pull that into your body. So that's actually what happens even with water. So if we have a glass of water and it's got 8, rocks per gallon, basically 8 of these little rocks are in that water. As that pours over your skin, it starts to clog the pores of your skin. So one of the greatest things that you can do is actually remove that rock out of the water. Now, there are some different systems out there in the market, but a water softener, a true water softener that uses either potassium chloride or sodium chloride, will remove the rock out of water. Now, that's very important to understand because it is the only method, there's actually 2 methods, I'm sorry. It's the only good method to really remove, or inexpensive method to remove rock out of the water. There's one other method that you can take rock out of the water, and that's reverse osmosis. And there's newer technology that's just starting to come out right now that actually will remove rock out of your whole house. It's not really been released yet, but there's manufacturers who are working hard just to get that so that we no longer have to use water softeners. But anything that's on the market that says salt water softener, just so you know, we've sold them. They do not remove the rock out of the water. They only claim to keep the rock attached to the water molecule while in the plumbing system, not when it hits the air and then it sprays on your body. So we've had a lot of clients where we tried using this product. We tried using salt-free water softeners or salt-free systems, conditioners they call them, and the people complain still that they have dry, itchy skin. When we switched that back out to a water softener, the problem went away. So again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to remove the rock out of the water so that it doesn't build up into the pores of your skin. And a quick little test that you can do, just like I'm going to do here, is you can see I have a bag of rocks. All you have to do is, and last time, you can even think about maybe the last time that you did this, last time that you grabbed a whole handful of rocks, what happens? If you take a look at it, you see all the dusts, all that dirt, all that calcium that actually builds up on the pores of my hand and my skin. And guess what? It's immediately dry. It immediately pulled all the oil out. So it's very much of a problem. So that's why we recommend pulling the rock out of the water. In addition, if you're in Chicago or the Chicago suburbs, or if your water's anything over probably 3 grains or 3 rocks per gallon, what you're going to find is soaps interact with the calcium that's in the water to create a salt. So it's very important to understand this is part of why water softeners are so popular. This is why, hair salons, why hotels all have water softeners, because they know that people are going to have a much better experience, because if you use soap with rock that's in the water, it produces a salt. And of course, salt is going to dry out your skin. So that's the really 2 main things that we're looking at now, chlorine and rocks or calcium that's in the water that we want to remove. So if you're looking to, again, alleviate dry, itchy skin, if you're looking for something to help you with the current medical procedure that you're on with your doctor, maybe it's a steroid or something like that, ask your doctor about it. Almost all doctors now are saying, yes, calcium or rocks in the water do affect your skin. Yes, chlorine does affect your skin. So without question, they will recommend to you to remove that out of your water. So we're always happy to have this kind of discussion with you. We'd love to be able to answer any questions that you have. So you're welcome to give us a call anytime at 847-382-7800. You could also find us on the web at angelwater.com. We have an info page there. You can certainly email us at info@angelwater.com, and we can answer any questions that you have. We have staff that run all over the northwest or northern suburbs, the western suburbs, and even the southern suburbs. So we're happy to come out and teach you a little bit more if that's something that you need. Again, my name is Andrew Wilson. My main goal is to help make you guys more healthy. So hopefully you enjoy the Dry Itchy Skin event that we had here today, the video. And if you have any further questions, give us a shout anytime. Have a great day.